What's up guys, back with another video, and today's topic is on a question that I pretty much get asked the most. So what's your diet like? How do you set up your macros? Hey, how much calories are you eating? That's the question I get asked an awful lot, and that's why I wanted to shoot this video, so that you guys can set up your own macros and make gains. For starters, you need to understand what macros are. So we all know what calories are. We all heard you should count calories and stuff like that, but actually you should count your macros. So calories consist of macros, and those macros are protein, fat, and carbs. There is a fourth one, and that's alcohol, but if you're watching this video, I don't presume that you drink alcohol on a daily basis. Not judging you if you do so, but I don't think that's the case. However, if you drink alcohol on the weekends and stuff like that, it's fine, enjoy life. But alcohol and lifting is a topic for another video. Back to the first main macros. Now, what you need to understand is the caloric value of those macros. So protein as well as carbs, 1 gram of protein or 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. So pretty easy to calculate, but 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So that's the first thing that you need to keep in mind when calculating your macros, calculating your calories. So what do you need to do to set up your own macros? So first of all, you need to find your BMR, so your base metabolic rate. What that means is pretty much the calories you consume in a day if you don't do anything. So if you lay in your bed all day long and do nothing, those are the calories that your body needs to be alive, pretty much, to for your heart to beat, for your lungs to function, stuff like that. In the past 2 years, I've used the same calculator, so you can find that in the description box. It works for me. Some people like to find it themselves. I think that's a bit too hard. Then you already need to know how to track your macros and like figure out how much you're burning and stuff like that. So a calculator can help you with that. Now, first part where we actually need to calculate something, and this is where you need to be honest with yourself. So when you found your base metabolic rate, you need to multiply it with an activity multiplier. So these are the activity multipliers that you can use, and as you can see, they go up the more active you are, which is pretty logical. So here you need to be honest with yourself, like how active are you? Do you work out 2 times in a week, or do you work out 6 times in a week? Do you work in construction, or do you work at a desk? So be honest with yourself and pick the right multiplier. Because if you pick a too high activity level, for instance, when you're bulking, that isn't a problem, but when you want to cut, that can become a problem because you think that your maintenance calories are a lot higher than they actually are. So guys, be honest with yourself. Next up, we can start calculating our macros. So when you've multiplied your base metabolic rate with the activity multiplier, you've got your maintenance calories. So what that means is if you eat your maintenance calories on a day, obviously you won't gain or you won't lose any body weight. So that's a good indicator to find out if you've chosen the right multiplier. Because if you eat your maintenance calories and you're losing body weight, that means you need to use a higher multiplier. The other case around, if you're eating those calories and you're gaining weight, that means you've chosen a too high activity multiplier. So that's the first thing you gotta play around with, especially when you're new to counting macros. The first month or so will be a lot of trial and error. So find out what your maintenance calories actually are. And this is where your first decision needs to come in place. So what do you want to do? Do you want to bulk? Do you want to maintain? Or do you want to cut? So depending on those things, so if you want to maintain, obviously you take your maintenance calories. If you want to bulk, you add 300 calories to that maintenance level. If you want to cut, I'd say start with minus 100, go down from there and see how your body reacts. I always start off with a deficit of 100 calories when I start my cut. At the end, I'm usually at like minus 250, minus 300 calories, but that's when I'm deep into my cut. So decisions made, we know what we want to do, we know if we want to bulk, we know if we want to cut, we know if we want to maintain. Now is the time to actually set up our macros, because you need the calories to know how you can set up your macros. So the easiest to calculate is protein. Most of you probably already know that a good amount of protein in a day is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for people that weigh themselves in kilograms, that's 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram. So a 180 pound man needs to eat, or should eat, about 180 grams of protein in a day. Let's stick to that 180 pound man for our example. So in our example, the guy is going to bulk, so he has added 300 calories to his maintenance level. Why am I choosing this example? Because it's pretty much what I'm doing right now. So we already calculated our protein. Pretty easy, 180 grams of protein in a day. Now, the next decision that you gotta make is up here. So now you gotta decide, what do you like more in terms of food? So do you like more fatty foods, or do you like more sugary foods? Because you can play around with your macros a little bit. There's not like a specific split that's perfect and that will do wonders. Macros are pretty personal. So a little disclaimer, this is what has worked for me, but it might not work for you. Next up, we're gonna calculate our fats. So you make the decision, I like more fatty foods, or I like more sugary foods. So you should keep fat like around 20 to 25% of your calories. So obviously when you like more fat food, you will be closer to 25% of your calories. If you like more sugary foods, you will be closer to 20%, because then you can eat more carbs. So let's say our 180 pound man likes to eat a lot of fat. So he wants 25% of his calories to come from fat. That means 750 calories will come from fat. Now, that doesn't mean 750 grams of fat a day. You still need to divide that number by 9, because do remember, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So if you divide the caloric number by 9, you got your fat, which is about 83 grams of fat in a day. Now, so we've got our protein, which is 180 grams in a day. We've got our fat, which is 83 grams in a day. Now, all that's left is the carbs. Again, a little bit of calculating. So we have already got 180 grams of protein, which is 720 calories in a day. We've got our fat, 83 grams of fat, which is 750 calories in a day. So if we got those two, that's about 1,470, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then we need to deduct that from our total calories. A 180 pound man who wants to bulk on about 3,000 calories, if we deduct that the calories that we already have from the fat and the protein from that number, the rest is 1,530 calories. Divide that number by 4 and you've got your carbs. That leaves us with 383 carbs in a day, and those are our macros. So now we know that we need to eat 180 grams of protein, 83 grams of fat, and 383 carbs in a day, and it's that easy to calculate it. Now, a little tip that I want to give you guys is to set up an Excel sheet. So I've set up an Excel sheet for myself with formulas. The only thing that I need to input is pretty much my base metabolic rate, which I calculate using the link in the description, and my current weight. And my numbers roll out of the Excel sheet for me. So if you need help with that, leave a comment down below and I'll set up an Excel sheet for you guys so that you can easily use it, that you just need to put in those things and the numbers roll out for you. But I hope that with this video, you can calculate your own macros. So now that you know your macros, you obviously need to track them. So things like MyFitnessPal can help you with that. MyFitnessPal is a really great app to do that. Now, I know MyFitnessPal has goals in it, so caloric goals and macro goals, but I don't advise you to use them. Just use MyFitnessPal to track and focus on the numbers that you've calculated yourself. If you want an example of a full day of eating, I've done those as well, and there are a ton of full day of eating videos out there on the internet. Just think about Max Tuning. He has got like 110, I believe, already. So yeah, a lot of inspiration right there, and those can help you to know how to actually track. I provide tips in my full day of eating video as well, because there are easy things to forget. And the thing with tracking macros is you need to be honest with yourself. So like, if you have a cookie and you're like, I'm not gonna track this, it's just a cookie. You didn't eat it. It's not like if you don't track it, it's not in your body. So be honest with yourself. That's what If You Fit Your Macros Flexible Diet is all about. You need to be honest with yourself, because like that little cookie can be 300 calories and that can blow you from like a cut to a bulk. So be honest with yourself, and then you can expect some gains to happen. So as said, if you want that Excel sheet, be sure to leave a comment down below. I'll set it up for you guys so you can use that. While you're down there in the comment section, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next.